3 weeks from tomorrow, it will be game day in Las Cruces. That's right, 3 weeks from tomorrow, 0 week, the 28th of August. It comes at you quickly. Aggies will host not only their season opener, they will host UTEP. It'll be a rivalry game. It'll be a season. I love the way they're doing it, too, by the way. It's the opening drive. Jeff Siembieda. JJ's not in today. Hopefully he'll be back on Monday. Looking forward to catch up with Doug Martin. It's been a minute since we've had a conversation with the Aggie coach. They are in camp getting ready for an opener after a season that, was lost. They played the 2 games in the spring but didn't get to play in the fall like most everybody else. Doug Martin is the head football coach at New Mexico State and joins us on the Quan's Auto Care Hotline. Good morning, Doug. How you doing?
I'm great, Jeff. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. It's kind of getting back into the groove, and it comes at you quickly, right? We just got back from bowl meetings and can't believe how quickly that's coming. You got a game in 3 weeks. Are you ready? All right, you'll be ready in 3 weeks. Are you where you want to be in terms of getting ready?
Yeah, I think, there's so much unknowns with us right now, Jeff, because, people talk about us missing that season.
Yeah.
But we missed a lot more than that. We weren't even allowed to practice during that time. So there was over 400 days that we had 0 football activities here at all. And that was a lot to overcome, So in the spring, the only reason we really played the games in the spring was to be able to get more practice days. Because had we not done that, we'd only gotten 15 practice days, which wouldn't be enough after having over 400 days off. So, we got 30-something practice days in the spring and the 2 games, and I think that helped us. But I don't think we're really going to know, what the damage was to our program and where we are until we get to start playing this fall.
So what do you do? What do you do to try to make that up, or you just say we can't and we got to go forward and we're just going to be playing from behind?
Well, it's just unprecedented. There's only 2 programs in the country that had to go through this, and it's us in Connecticut. And, we're just doing the best we can to work with our players and try to get them back. We think we've done a really good job. We think that our players have been outstanding, the way they've handled everything. I can't compliment them enough, and I think our coaching staff has done a phenomenal job recruiting. We had to recruit coming off of a year where we didn't play at all either. So it's hard to go out and recruit when the recruits don't know if you're going to have a football season there. So there was a lot of things that were unprecedented, and I hope people really, respect and appreciate what our players and our coaches have been through here.
Doug Martin's the head coach at New Mexico State, and it is unprecedented, and so there's what that means is there's no blueprint to draw from. There's no experience. There's no one to talk to because nobody's ever done this before. You said something, we'll see what the damage has done to our program. So that sounds like you're willing to accept, okay, there was damage done to our program. How much and how do we minimize it?
Yeah, it's obviously we had players that transferred out because we weren't playing a season and everybody else is. Then we had to go recruit, and we had to recruit coming off of a year where we didn't play at all. And people want to know, well, why didn't you play when everybody else did? So, there was a lot of things that we've had to deal with. Now, I will say this, the recruiting that our staff did was phenomenal because we probably are more talented than we've ever been right now. But, again, we're inexperienced. We haven't, probably half of our football team has never played a college football game right now because of the way we had to reload. So there's just a lot of unknowns, and I think we've done the best job we possibly can. But, there was certainly damage done to our program.
So what's fair to expect from your football team? What do you expect from your football team?
Well, the expectations are going to be the same. You've got to go win games. Nobody, at the end of the day, nobody cares what we went through. They expect you to win. And so we've got to go, and we've put it all behind us, and we're not going to use that as an excuse for our players or anything. But I just hope people do appreciate what they've gone through.
All right, you talk about the talent, and everybody goes straight to quarterback where you've got a competition. Jonah Johnson's a junior. Weston Eggett is a redshirt freshman who, by every count, is very talented. Got injured in one of the spring games. I've read somewhere that you'll hold it all the way straight down to announcement right at game time. What's the plan at quarterback? How are they looking?
Yeah, we're going to play both those guys. I think in the era of COVID, you don't know what's going to happen, so you better have 2 guys at every position anyway, especially key positions like that. And I expect both those guys to play for us at different times, but it is an open competition right now. The thing I will tell you, Jeff, that makes us feel better is we're so much better at quarterback than we've been since 2017. When we lost Tyler Rogers, we really took a hit. We haven't been able to replace really since that time. But these two guys give us the same abilities that Tyler had as far as throwing the ball and pushing the ball vertically down the field. And, really excited about both of them. They're great young men. They're both going to have great college careers.
Doug, can they both do everything you want them to do, or do you have to – because I know in the past you've had a backup quarterback because you've had to run a different package when you went there, and it always just changes everything up, and it stunts the growth of your offense. Can they both do everything you want to do and run the same packages?
Yeah, and that's a great point, Jeff. You're exactly right. And but, yeah, they can, especially throwing the ball. They both got big arms. Jonah's a little bit better runner than Weston, but Weston's athletic. He can move too. So we don't have to change anything when either one of them go in the game.
And you went out and got them weapons. You got a junior college transfer, and I'm looking forward to get down there and seeing him. I heard Justice Powers is terrific, and then you've got Dominic Jacinto, who transferred from Missouri, who an SEC talent that's on your campus, that's on your team. You've got a couple of tight ends that you've added. So I know you like the talent that you've added.
Yeah, I really do. And people didn't get to see these guys in the spring because of transferring in. They weren't allowed to play in those games in the spring. But Justice Powers, is a 6'3", 6'4" wide receiver that can absolutely fly. We haven't had anybody like him since Jaleel Scott. Tomas Whitford, our tight end, is a 255-pound tight end that really can run and stretch the field and blocks really well. And then you mentioned Dom Jacinto from Missouri. He's electric. I mean, he's got tremendous speed. And Eli Johnson, the center from Ole Miss that transferred in, another SEC player that really gives us a lot of maturity and things in the offensive line. So I'm excited about all of those guys. And, again, I give credit to our coaching staff, the way they recruited to get players like that in here after what we came off of. So it was pretty remarkable.
Doug Martin is New Mexico State's football coach. Aggies open up against UTEP on the 28th. That's 3 weeks from tomorrow at home in Aggie Memorial Stadium. I want to go to the spring, and maybe I should have led with this. So much was read into it, and I tried to back people down, explain to them, look, you've got a roster that isn't your roster, right? Half of these guys couldn't play because of transfer rules. Guys transferred out. You played two teams that were FBS teams, and the first game was ugly, and you admitted that. But how much do you read into it, and what are you trying to explain to people? What do those games mean anything in regards to what your football team is going to look like on the 28th?
Well, for us, those games were to get everybody back playing again. So, we treated those games like scrimmages. We played everybody on the team, played in the game. We weren't consumed with winning the game. We were consumed with getting guys back on the field. Again, we hadn't been on the field in 400 days. So it was important to get everybody to play. And the first game was exactly what we saw in practice. Our guys were tentative, and they hadn't been playing in a long time, and it just wasn't the same. You're playing in a completely empty stadium. We still had to play in El Paso. We couldn't even play here in Las Cruces at that time. So there was a lot of things still going on. And then I thought the second game, our guys, man, the improvement was remarkable from game 1 to game 2, which was what we were hoping for also. And then we had 18 players that did not play in either one of those games because they were transfers or things like that NCAA-wise, they weren't allowed to play in those games. They could practice with us in the spring, but they couldn't play in the games.
Doug, I think your team's one of the biggest mysteries, and not I don't say question mark, I just mystery in college football, because you're one of the only teams that lost the whole season, because you've got so many transfers, you've got SEC talent on your team, you've got new quarterbacks. Like you can read all these magazines and all these preseason things, and I read some of them, and they're all different about your team, which is crazy. Usually there's a consistent theme. Would you agree with that? And maybe they're even a mystery to you.
That's absolutely right, Jeff. I see things in practice that really excite me about our football team that we haven't had since 2017. There's some things, particularly on offense, that I really feel like watching in practice were better than we were in 2017, the bowl year. But it is a mystery. There's a lot of things we don't know. There's a lot of kids that never played in a game. So, again, it's just going to be that way. And then with COVID and everything, it changes from week to week anyway, because you have kids that test positive and they have to quarantine for 10 days and somebody else has to step up. And that's going to be everybody's going to have to deal with that. But I think we have a lot more than than anybody else in the country, to be honest.
I was saying that just before you came on. People who think, somebody said, well, we're coming out of COVID. We're not done with this. We're not done with this. And you said something that I've talked to a number of coaches about. We've got to be at least 2, maybe 3 deep at every position because you don't know on Friday who's not playing on Saturday. And you're going to get a phone call. It's got to be I know when I ran a bowl game in Texas this year, every time my phone buzzed, I didn't want to look at it because I thought it was coming with a positive test. You know what I mean? And as a coach, I know you feel the same way.
There's no question. I mean, that situation is still the same as it was in the fall, to be honest with you. I mean, I know vaccinated and unvaccinated, but I mean, the rules change and the guidelines change day to day. And it's something that's really fluid that every program is going to have to still deal with.
I got 2 more things for you. What's the message to the players as you going through coming off this year? Is there a theme to this? Because I guess they got to be chomping at the bit, but they've got to be curious too, and there's got to be a lot of question marks there.
Yeah, I think for us, there's just a lot of excitement about playing again. You know, when you have something that you really enjoy doing, that you love, like playing football for these young men, and they have it taken away from them, it really makes you appreciate it. And that's, I think, what I've seen from our players more than anything is the appreciation of being a college football player. So, like, this group has been one of the most fun groups I've ever coached because they had something taken away from them, they're getting it back, and they're just really excited about it. So, enjoy it, enjoy the moment, and just stay together as a football team. And I think that's what we've done a great job of. And during that year off, I thought our coaches did a phenomenal job of just building team chemistry and those type of things. And to be honest with you, we had some players leave that probably we wanted to leave, and we replaced them with better players and better character. And from that vein, we're in a lot better position.
All right, lastly, you don't get a warm-up game. You open up against a rival, a game that means so much to your community. You open up against UTEP, a team that in a lot of respects looks somewhat like you over the last few years. You like opening up with a rival, or would you rather have something else to start?
I really like this. I think it creates a lot of excitement through the summer for our players, for both teams. When you're going to play this game. And that first game, there's going to be a tremendous crowd there. There hadn't been a football game played, in Las Cruces since, 2019. 2019. So, 2019. So, there's going to be a lot of excitement there. Hopefully it'll be a full stadium, and I think it's a great way to start the season.
Yeah. Appreciate the conversation. It's good to hear you. I'm hoping we could start up those weeklies here the week before you get started and carry them through the season again. We're always appreciative of that, and just good to hear you, Doug. Get back to work, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, Jeff. Take care, buddy.
Be well. Doug Martin is the head football coach at New Mexico State.